God bless America. Hello, everybody. I am the Talk Radio Protege, and we are back with the Protege program. Today, we're going to talk about how Adam almost ruined student loans. In case you don't know, Adam Conover is the resident beta cuck over at College Humor who likes to try and make people think that the things they agree with ideologically are bad. Not saying that I agree with student loans or that they're good, just trying to give you a sense of what he does. Adam has tried ruining the border wall, alpha males, and being successful without a college education. I don't think he's ever explicitly said that he's objective and fact-based, but he does present that way. So before we get to the video, let me just say that I'm going to skip over some of the statements in Adam's video, and I'm not skipping them because they don't fit a narrative that I may or may not have, but just because they're either somewhat accurate or irrelevant to the discussion. Now, let's get going.
Right, they're a necessity.
Actually, student loans aren't a necessity. I know the exception doesn't make the rule, but plenty of people can complete a 4-year college degree at a major university while accruing $0 of debt. I've done it, and I was an average student. I had some help from my wife for sure, but it can be done. Loans aren't a necessity. All a loan is, any kind of loan, but especially a student loan, is money that you don't have, that you want right now, and you aren't willing to wait for. You can actually live a decent life, work a fair job, and save up money to put yourself through college. And yes, it is very hard, and it can take a long time, which is why so many people get loans.
Before 1972, students could get federally backed loans to pay for school, but there weren't enough to go around. But then, Richard Nixon created the Student Loan Marketing Association, or as it's known today, Sallie Mae.
Technically, the authorization to create Sallie Mae comes from the Higher Education Act of 1965. This is on the Sallie Mae website. This is a bill signed into law by Democrat President Lyndon Johnson as part of his Great Society. You know, that societal project that has resulted in almost zero change in the poverty level and now a massively bloated welfare state. Nixon can't be pardoned for his involvement, to be sure, but he couldn't have created Sallie Mae if it wasn't for the welfare state. And remember, this is going to be important. Adam presents that Nixon is the only person responsible. Nixon, the Republican president, only person responsible for the creation of Sallie Mae.
This system freed up financial institutions to issue more loans, which meant more students could go to college.
Right, so now colleges are going to charge more for students, I hope you realize. The government has just artificially expanded the demand for a college education without an expansion of supply. So of course colleges are going to charge more money. He's about to take a crack at the free market in a moment or two, but the market is always involved whether the government wants it to be or not, which is why the government can have an extremely, extremely terrible effect on the economy. We're watching that play out right now with the Affordable Care Act. It's done something similar to the health insurance market that the Higher Education Act has done to the college market.
It was, but the party foul began when the government moved to privatize Sallie Mae in the 1990s.
I'm tired of playing chaperone. You're free, Sallie. Free market.
A compromise between President Clinton and congressional Republicans cut Sallie Mae loose. Now Sallie Mae was in it for the profits, and profits they received.
This is Adam's usual shtick when ruining, quote-unquote, something connected to capitalism. Capitalism is evil because it's the free market. Profits are evil because people will hurt people to get profits, or whatever. Never mind that Sallie Mae was a creation of the government, and Bill the Rapist Clinton was a key player in privatizing her. This is the important point I want you to remember. Nixon was solely responsible for the creation of Sallie Mae because she came about under his administration. But when it comes to the privatization of Sallie Mae, which made her very evil, as Adam is about to talk about, Clinton was not to blame. It was the Republicans in Congress's fault. It's never the Democrats' fault.
Fearing competition, Sallie Mae started marketing like crazy.
Here we go with competition. The free market is evil because competition, blah, blah, blah. I have some info for you socialists that love Apple and Tesla. Apple fears competition. Tesla fears competition. Companies do things to make themselves appear more attractive as part of marketing because they fear competition. It's natural. Maybe if she hadn't been a government-sponsored enterprise, Again, something coming from Sallie Mae's website. Her CEOs might have been prosecuted.
Many borrowers have monthly payments that are so low, they don't even cover the interest. You could be in a situation where you're paying hundreds of dollars a month, but the amount you owe is still growing.
I wanted to talk about this line because it's important financial advice. When you're dealing with debt, it's important to pay it off as fast as possible because it minimizes the interest that you pay. And interest is this profit thing that banks like to collect. If they lent you $1,000, they have to spend money in paperwork and man hours to lend you $1,000. So when you pay $1,000 back, they don't get anything. So that's why they charge you interest. And interest is the reason why it's foolish to take out a 10-year car loan. It takes you so long to pay off your car that by the time you want to get rid of that car, it's not worth as much money as you owe on it. Also, for you selfless socialists who hate the big banks, remember, when it comes to loans, you can stick it to their bottom dollar by paying it off as fast as possible.
Sallie Mae spent decades lobbying Congress to roll back consumer protections. And it all paid off in 2005 when Sallie Mae won their crowning achievement. Because now, unlike almost all other forms of debt, it is nearly impossible to declare bankruptcy for student loans. It's insane. You sign a piece of paper when you're 18 and you can get stuck for life.
Remember how I mentioned that Sallie Mae is a government-sponsored enterprise, how they list that on their website? Of course the government is going to pass legislation favoring her. The government sponsors Sallie Mae. That's why they're going to do that with legislation. It also benefits the government to benefit Sallie Mae because, as you stated in a segment I skipped earlier,
if you default on a federal student loan, the government can garnish up to 15% of your wages, tax refunds, and Social Security benefits. And if your parents co-signed your loan, their income can be garnished too.
The government needs to get that money back because it's money they're giving to Sallie Mae to then give to you. So the government wants their money back.
A generation of Americans have had to financially cripple themselves with debt just to get the basic education that will allow them to survive in today's economy.
And actually, you can survive in today's economy with a high school education. My wife and I did so for 2.5 years. Is it hard? Yeah, absolutely. Is it comfortable? No, not really. That's why so many people think of college education as quote-unquote basic. We've lionized the college education to the point that people talk about it like it's a human right. And we haven't even talked about the myriad of degrees and majors that colleges offer that can only land you a job where you get to say, do you want fries with that 1,000 times a day? We also haven't talked about the opportunities that you can get by attending a trade school where you can learn a specific skill that pays a lot of money. One of the most lucrative skills that you can have that you don't have to go to college for is welding. You want to know why people don't weld? Because you have to work outside and it's hot and it's hard. People go to college because they want to get a cushy white collar job when they graduate, but they don't think about the type of degree that they're getting when they go and they study underwater basket weaving. The truth of the matter is that so many people have fooled themselves or been lied to the point that they believe the only way to live comfortably in America is by earning a 4-year degree from a major university. Whew. All right, fellas, that's going to conclude this one. I just blazed through it. But if you liked, share and subscribe. If you liked the fast talking, fast reading thing that I did, make sure you leave a comment, subscribe, and sign up for alerts so that you don't miss a single video. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, good night and God bless.